Hoping that everybody is still keeping safe. This is the fastest infestation and infection we have ever seen on record. That is the fastest infestation and infection we have seen on record. Please.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. Please not the power next. Please not the power next. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 31 Days of Horror. This is day 17. I am Morgan Film Fan. Let's jump into some scares. The Dead Undead has to be one of the most hypocritic titles and oxymoron titles that I've ever heard. But this is a low-budget zombie vampire film, because it says vampires versus zombies. They don't do that in the movie. But that's what they have as a tagline. And I bought this just because it was cheap and it looked like a fun B-movie at the very least. So I decided to throw it into 31 days. I did not know before watching this film, but Luke Goss is in here. Luke Goss, the best that he's probably known in is the Death Race 2 and 3 films, which I did review those films on the channel, 1 to 4, at least the newer ones, the Jason Statham one, then the 2 and 3 with Luke Goss, and then the 4th with that one guy from Shameless. Luke Goss is basically, I consider like a low budget Jason Statham, essentially. He's got the bald head, he's got the badassness, he brings badass to the screen just like Statham does. So I like anything he's in automatically. Just to see, you know, a guy kick ass. Like Frank Grillo is very similar. Luke Goss is kind of that type. Basically, what we have going on in this film is we have these kids, I'm not even kidding you, they drive up to this like Lakeview shitty ass motel, and then they try to check themselves in. We don't know where they're coming from, we don't know where they're going, we don't know what they're doing there, we don't know where they are. They're just at a motel and they want to check in, and that's it. Like, we don't get any details in this film until Luke Goss and his posse of like soldiers, seemingly. They're a little bit more than soldiers, but they come in and they start, you know, one of the girls that checked into the motel gets attacked by this zombie vampire kid. And that's the thing with the creatures in this film, is that they're a blend of zombie and vampire, so they're kind of both. They can't go in the sun, but when they bite you, they infect you, they can turn you, all this stuff. And because they're also a mix between vampires and zombies, it's mentioned that they're not impossible to kill, but they are much more difficult. So it's not just a simple headshot that takes them down. I'm not sure if it's mentioned that silver does anything. At no point have I seen them try silver, even though they at one point use some swords. You would think that they would kind of put it in the plot that silver probably has an effect on these creatures, but it doesn't seem to. Basically, their method is basically destroying the entire head, or destroying the entire brain. That's basically what's mentioned. So this crew, I don't know if it's led by Luke Goss, but there's like 5 of them. And apparently they're night walkers, as they call themselves. They're more functioning type of vampire. They don't have the zombie part of the virus, and they hide at night, or hide during the day, and then they come out at night and start hunting these creatures, which again, we don't really get an explanation on where the virus came from or how far it spread. We just know that there's these vampire hunters, Blade style, and Blade is obviously way more kick-ass than these guys could ever be, but I digress on that. And they kick ass, and they shoot some vampire zombies. They give them a name too. It's kind of funny. They call them like VBs or something, or I forget the word. I should have wrote it down. That's about it really with this one. There is not too much to talk about when it comes to plot. We have people kicking ass at a crappy, you know, pay by the hour motel seemingly. That's really all that happens. And then there are some flashbacks that happen in this film too, because with this night crew, they got turned, you know, years back. So you got one flashback in the medieval times, you got one flashback in Vietnam, and then you get another flashback in like the old West. They really took me out of the film just because this is such a low budget film, and you can tell that all those sets were just that. They were really small, cheap looking sets. And when you're trying to do a period piece, even if you're just trying to do a period piece in a certain little 3-4 minute segment of a film, and you can still make it look too cheap and too stage-like, and that's really difficult to capture the atmosphere of a period if you don't have the budget to do so. And plus, I'm not really a big fan of period pieces in the first place, especially when it comes to like medieval and especially Westerns. I'm not really the biggest Western guy. So those were distracting, and those, you know, it just made me want to go back to the zombie action, and they just got really cheesy. So I think those flashbacks is what brought this movie down the most. Now I did give it a 1.5 out of 5. Everything that has to do with the night crawler crew kicking ass, and then the way the zombies look too, they were fun. They jump around a lot. They were more vampiric like. But the characters that checked into the motel, the young ones, I don't even remember any of them, to be honest. Like, not a thing. They're very, very forgettable characters, and they're just there to be cannon fodder, essentially. So it's not the greatest film. It kind of reminded me a lot of House of the Dead by Uwe Boll. So just that alone should tell you what you're getting into if you want to check out The Dead Undead. But I can't say it's not fun, and I can't say Uwe Boll's House of the Dead isn't fun either. In an entertainment sense, like you put it on and you have a background noise that you can have some popcorn and drinks to if you're into that thing, or some tokes if you're into that thing. Films should be taken at face value, and I say this on the channel, like, you don't go watch Sharknado expecting Jaws, okay? So you don't go watch The Dead Undead expecting, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of World War Z, but you don't expect World War Z when it comes to a film like this. It's just fun. It's just fun, cheap fun, really cheap fun, but fun nonetheless, with a really, really contrived story. And the flashbacks were my least favorite, but the zombie vampire action is worth the $3 that I think I paid for that film. So there you have it. That's all I got on The Dead Undead. And Luke Goss is badass too, so you got Luke Goss kicking ass. He delivers some B-movie fun. So yeah, that's day 17 with another technically zombie movie, but zombie vampires this time. 31 Days of Horror is continuing, so stay tuned. Thank you for joining me once again. Leave me a comment, let me know how I'm doing. I love discovering brand new films as much as introducing them to you guys. So take care, keep things spooky, stay warm out there. It's getting a little chilly now, but keep the spirit of spooky season alive. And until next review, sleep tight tonight.